the Sailboat Metaphor. My name is Voicu Mihnea Simandan, and I would like to welcome you to this training. Here is a brief overview of this training. I will start by telling you a few words about myself, then we will look at the core concepts of positive psychology. After that, I would like to introduce to you the Sailboat Metaphor. We will look at what it is and how we can use it in our practice at school. We will specifically look at the 8 elements of the Sailboat Metaphor, and I will finish with some ending remarks. So, who am I? As I said, my name is Voicu Mihnea, and I am a psychology teacher here in Beijing. I am also a former competitive archer, an archery coach, and a positive psychology coach. So, what is positive psychology? According to the Positive Psychology Center at the University of Pennsylvania, positive psychology is the scientific study of strengths that enable individuals and communities to thrive. Positive psychology is centered on the belief that people want to have meaningful and fulfilling lives and wish to cultivate what is best within themselves. Positive psychology is a broad field that involves a wide range of topics, including strength, resilience, self-compassion, mindfulness, motivation, goal setting, self-acceptance, emotional intelligence, meanings and values, social support, well-being, and others. What is our aim? To incorporate positive psychology into our school life by promoting and coaching positivity to increase the overall well-being of the students, the faculty, and staff. For that, we need a framework for explaining and practicing positive psychology in such a way that both experts and non-experts can grasp and can relate to its guiding principles. The idea is to offer a way for the students to look at themselves and others in a holistic way that would incorporate, among others, emotions, values, challenges, strengths, and many more. What is the key to well-being? Well-being is defined by the Oxford English Dictionary as the state of being comfortable, healthy, and happy. The key to well-being is the way people look at themselves. At the core of well-being lies the relationship that people have with themselves. It's all about relating to the self. Sadly, many people look at themselves from a very limited perspective. The lens through which they view themselves is often weak and limited. A lens highlights conditions for being good enough and flaws to be corrected. Many fail to see their own beauty and potential. And this is where we come in. So, why the Sailboat Metaphor? The Sailboat Metaphor offers students a different, more holistic lens to look at themselves. The Sailboat Metaphor addresses the full spectrum of human functioning. It highlights both the factors that reduce our well-being as well as those that allow us to flourish and grow. The Sailboat Metaphor can broaden our view. It shifts our attention from what is wrong with us to the resources in ourselves and our environment. The Sailboat Metaphor can help us realize that we are the captains of our own boats and we are equipped with the necessary resources to make our journey worth traveling. So, what is the goal of this training? The overarching goal of this training is to present a framework we can use to integrate positive psychology in our work with the students. The goal is twofold. The first goal is to offer a structured science-based resource that will enable you and myself to understand the various processes underlying the many topics within the field of positive psychology. The second goal is to offer a structural approach to directly applying positive psychology in order to assess and improve the student's level of well-being. It's all about the student's well-being. What is the sailboat metaphor structure? The different elements of the sailboat metaphor provide an easy to understand yet comprehensive structure for addressing the essential elements of well-being and their interrelations. The structure of this metaphor offers students an intuitive perspective on human functioning that captures the complex nature of well-being without the need to understand the theoretical and scientific underpinnings of the various processes involved. The metaphor will serve as a framework throughout this training. What is the sailboat metaphor? What is the practical aim of the sailboat metaphor? Louisa May Alcott, the American novelist known for her coming-of-age novel Little Women, published in 1868, said this: "I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning to sail my ship." This quote beautifully summarizes what could be considered the most important practical aim of positive psychology: to enhance autonomy and resilience. The goal of every helping professional, be it coaches, counselors, teachers, leaders of schools, is to eventually become redundant by helping the students realize that they are the captain of their own ships, and such they can take effective actions. And we all hope that by the end of high school they will be able to take such action. But this realization allows the students to align their behavior with personal values and take responsibility for their own behavior and thus reality. We hope that through the sailboat metaphor we give the students autonomy. We teach them that they are in charge of their own sailboat. A key step in this process is the development of a balanced and complete perspective of the self. This perspective must consider the many factors, positive and negative, controllable and uncontrollable, that determine daily behavior and experiences. Autonomy emerges through becoming aware of personal strengths and weaknesses, of factors that can and cannot be controlled, and of positive and negative social factors. For the rest of this training, I will introduce the sailboat metaphor. So what is the sailboat metaphor? The sailboat metaphor compares human functioning to a sailboat and its journey, and offers a multifaceted yet easy to understand perspective of the self. Here's a graphical representation of the metaphor. We have water, we have a compass, we have a steering wheel, we have leaks, we have sails, we have the weather, we have other words, we have other destination, and each of these elements relates to an aspect of our well-being, of our students' well-being. What are the 8 elements of the sailboat metaphor? Here they are, once again. 1. Water. It relates to life domains such as school, work, family. 2. Compass. It refers to feelings, emotions. 3. Steering wheel, our values. Leaks, our weaknesses. Sails, our strengths. Weather, events around us such as upcoming exams, moving to another country, moving to a new school. Other boats, which represent social relationships, our environment. And destination, the goal, our goal, the student's goal. Now, let's look at a detailed description of each element of the sailboat metaphor. The first element, water. No boat moves in isolation from the water. The water can be compared to what we could call the playground of life. Just like the water encompasses the space in which the boat is held afloat and moves, it also represents the direct environment in which we live and with which we interact. This environment is divided into many different domains, including our school, our job, our relationship with our parents, with our partners, with our friends, our financial situation, so on and so forth. In short, it is our direct physical reality. The second element is the compass. A compass is an instrument used for navigation and orientation that shows direction relative to the environment. So we can see how the compass is actually also related to the water. It provides feedback on the current direction in which we are heading. In similar vein, experiences like feelings, emotions, bodily sensations, and even intuition serve as a tool for navigating and orienting. Both positive and negative experiences are signals that provide feedback as we navigate our life's journey. Thus, they serve as a valuable guide. For this reason, it is important to pay attention to them and allow them to be present. Let me say that again. Allow these feelings to be present. Positive experiences such as joy, relaxation, energy, signal personal well-being and inform us that we are on the right track. These experiences can serve as a direct reinforcer and, over time, build long-lasting resources. And we will see in the fifth element, the sail, which can show our strengths, and we can build on these strengths. Negative experiences, such as fear and pain, inform us that our attention is required. Now, these negative feelings, these negative experiences should not be ignored either, but rather should be addressed. Rather than suppressing these negative experiences, allowing them to be present without acting upon them can reveal valuable information that may assist us on our journey. Fear, for instance, may signal that we are approaching the edge of our comfort zone. Since we are uncertain about what the other side of the ocean looks like, we experience fear. Fear may indicate that we have a chance to broaden our horizon and expand our comfort zone. So see how addressing negative emotions is also important for our growth, for the student's growth. Possibly, we may also realize that the thing that is causing us to fear is important to us. After all, why would we experience fear if we did not care about it? And may give us insight into a personal value. Note that the emotional experience itself is never a problem. In terms of the sailboat metaphor, the compass is not the problem. It simply provides information and feedback. The problem arises when a person, a student, uses his or her compass in an ineffective way. For instance, many students attempt to control or avoid the negative experiences that the compass indicates. However, paradoxically, research has shown that such avoidance can lead to an increase in negative experiences. The third element of the sailboat metaphor is the steering wheel. The steering wheel represents personal values. Just like the steering wheel determines where the boat will go, personal values determine how we want to live our life. They are the answer to the question, what do you find important in life? Narrowing this down, we can ask our student, what do you find important in your school life? When we live according to our true values, there is an accompanying sense of fulfilling our deepest purpose in life. Values provide a direction and meaning that we need to lead fulfilling and rewarding lives. Values are best compared to directions rather than destinations, like the steering wheel that determines a certain direction. Whereas goals, which are the destinations, the eighth element of the sailboat metaphor, can be achieved, again, goals can be achieved, values cannot be achieved. For example, the value of being creative can never be completely fulfilled. So, even if a student creates a painting, which is a concrete goal, it will be kind of silly to say, now that I've completed this painting, I've accomplished creativity. Now I'll proceed to the next great thing. Therefore, values are best formulated as verbs, as something that is never fully achieved. So a value might be being creative or contributing to others' well-being. Note that the steering wheel represents our current values, both adaptive and maladaptive. Adaptive values contribute to our well-being, while maladaptive values reduce our well-being. When students have lost connection with their values, it is often because one or more of their elements of the boat receives a disproportionate level of attention. For instance, a student who experiences fear. So the compass shows the emotion fear, the second element of the sailboat. That student may spend a lot of time trying to control and reduce fear. Let's say fear of an upcoming exam. So he or she is constantly monitoring and trying to control his or her inner experiences. In other words, undue attention is focused on the compass, and safety and control become the main direction of the boat. Now, paradoxically, again, research has shown sailing in this direction may cause fear to increase. Constantly thinking and worrying about an exam will only make the students even more worried about the exam and then have even more fear about taking that exam. So the values of safety and control thus affect the student's well-being in a negative way. Another student may focus too much on the values of other people. In the case of the sailboat metaphor, the other boats, element 6. This focus may be the result of a need for approval, a value that is currently guiding the student's behavior, but which does not contribute to the well-being of that student in a positive way. Now, the fourth element of the sailboat metaphor is the leak. A leak in the boat represents a weakness. Thus, it reflects a personal characteristic that reduces well-being. Weaknesses can be present at the physical, cognitive, and or behavioral levels. At the physical level, the student may experience pain. Hopefully not hunger, but it can be hunger, fatigue, or other bodily related issues that reduce well-being. At a cognitive level, the student may, for instance, suffer from rumination, constantly thinking about the worst case scenario, worry, self-blame, or unrealistic standards. I need an A+ in every single subject. At a behavioral level, the individual may engage in behaviors that result in lower levels of well-being, such as, let's say, aggression, or trying to please others, or acting impulsively, or procrastinating. Just like leaks are considered internal problems for a boat, weaknesses can be considered internal stressors. They come from the individual's personal goals, expectations, standards, perceptions, desires, and the like. In other words, they come from within and are self-induced. In contrast, external stressors are generated outside the individual, outside the students. In many cases, these are uncontrollable circumstances, such as moving schools, moving to a new country, or a death in the family. In the sailboat metaphor, these external stressors are represented by bad weather, which we will cover in element 6, the weather. Let's continue with the leak. A weakness focus centers solely on the leak. There's a problem, I must fix it. Although the leak is not the only defining characteristic of the boat, for example, the boat has sails, a steering wheel, so on and so forth, we focus our attention only on this specific aspect of the boat, obsessively. The idea behind the weakness focus is clear and well-meaning. That is, by fixing this weakness, we aim to increase well-being. In terms of the boat metaphor, by fixing the leak, we expect the boat to be able to sail again. Indeed, if we don't fix the leak, then the boat will sink, and the students will not be able to sail anywhere. However, aiming to increase well-being by only focusing on repairing the leak of the boat is unlikely to result in success or reaching a destination or a goal. This approach ignores the fact that, and this is very important, the absence of problems or illnesses does not automatically imply well-being. Regarding the sailboat metaphor, even if you would be able to repair the leak, your students may still not be able to get anywhere. Let's say there's no wind, so the boat can't move forward. It is the sails, the student sails, the next component of the metaphor, that actually gives the students the momentum they need to move their sailboat forward. The boat moves forward because of the students' strengths, not because they fixed a weakness. So in summary, although it is important to address weaknesses to prevent the boat from sinking, one must also hoist the sails to catch a favorable wind, an opportunity, seize the opportunity, and then move forward. So let's move on to the fifth element of the sailboat metaphor, the sails. Personal strengths are factors that facilitate valued living and goal achievement and increase personal well-being. These all come from strengths, from each student's personal strength. These factors are positive traits that reflect in one's thought, in one's feelings, in one's behavior. Strengths include ways of thinking, ways of feeling, and ways of behaving that are authentic and energizing to the student, to the individual. Using strengths enables optimal functioning, development, and performance. Examples of strengths are effective coping styles, like optimism and acceptance, but also activities that provide energy and enthusiasm, like writing or painting or archery. In the sailboat metaphor, strengths are represented by the sails of the boat. Without the sails of the boat would just float aimlessly in the water, actually not going anywhere. Just like the strengths allow the individual to flourish in life, the sails allow the boat to move forward in a favorable direction. The sails of the boat generate momentum, helping the captain, the student, create a journey that is worth traveling. A person who is using his or her strengths feels energized and engaged, like a boat that is sailing at full speed with the wind in its sails. The sixth element of the sailboat metaphor is the weather. Life events are external things that happen to people. Real-life examples include a bad grade, the loss of a loved one, getting stuck in traffic, winning the lottery, or falling in love, among many other things that can happen to you or to a student. Although we often have limited control over these events, the way we deal with them can have a serious effect on our well-being. In the sailboat metaphor, life events can be compared to the weather. Sometimes the wind is blowing in our sails and we encounter situations that allow us to use our strengths optimally. Other times the wind and the rain make it difficult to keep traveling in the preferred direction, or there's no wind at all and we are stagnating in water. The seventh element of the sailboat metaphor is the other boats. The other boats in the sea represent the people that surround us. These boats can be compared to our social network. Other boats can influence us in many ways, both positively and negatively. For instance, when we decide to turn the steering wheel and take a different course, we may experience support from peers who motivate us to pursue our new directions. Let's say you want to change your major, or you may want to drop a course and focus on a different area of study. At the same time, others may disapprove of the new direction and provoke feelings of self-doubt and fear within us. So these feelings are actually our compass. In the latter case, it is important to stay true to our values and direction rather than letting others determine the course of the boat. Our social network may also offer support in difficult situations, in difficult times. In times of stormy weather, the other boats can help us stay on our course and remind us what is truly important in our journey, what is truly important to us, what our core values are. And I believe that we as teachers are a big part of the social network of the students, and we can influence the students to follow their goals. The eighth and last element of the sailboat metaphor is the destination. Just like the boat can sail to a certain destination, people can steer to reach their own goals. While a value reflects the general direction of the boat, a goal represents a specific and concrete destination of the boat. Goal setting and achievement are important processes that can help students understand their own values. Goals can help translate abstract values like creativity into practice. Moreover, achieving personally meaningful goals can help build the student's self-confidence and self-efficacy. Now, a few ending remarks. I hope that you have a general understanding of the sailboat metaphor and how we can use it to start engaging the student in a discussion about themselves. By using the sailboat metaphor, I believe that it will be easier for the students to express their feelings, to express their strengths. Because when they refer to the sailboat, when they use the sailboat metaphor, it is a non-threatening way of discussing their own innermost feelings, goals, values, passions, leaks, problems, weaknesses, but also strengths. Okay, in the next training, we will look at the role of the captain. And then we will look at how the captain interacts with all the elements of the sailboat. Thank you for your time.